The gravity of the time is such that every new avenue of peace, no matter how dimly discernible, should be explored. Never before in history has so much hope for so many people been gathered together in a single organization. You will provide a great share of the wisdom, of the courage, and the faith which can bring to this world lasting peace for all nations and happiness and well-being for all men.
So we are here today for a very special interview with Jadwiga Najder, who is a host of Titans of Nuclear and who is here with me today at the World Nuclear Exhibition. So welcome.
Thank you so much. It's amazing to have this talk with you.
So we're kind of used today as an opportunity to recap the event and this week and sort of everything we've saw and everything we've done. So first, can you just tell us a little bit about what WNE is and sort of how you came to attend?
Yeah. So World Nuclear Exhibition is the enterprise meeting place for all the global nuclear industry. So every company that counts and wants to do some business internationally has really a huge incentive to come here to start new contracts, to meet their partners that they currently work with, and also to attend the conferences, panels, and just to stay in this like very positive vibe of we can do the nuclear, we can get global with this business.
And congratulations on your panel. I heard it went very, very well. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So actually, this year I was pretty busy with several panels. That's true. I was participating in the EDF panel that was focused on young people in a conversation with the CEO of EDF, Jean-Bernard Lévy. This was the first one. I was also in the panel as the moderator for Framatome with the CEO Bernard Fontana and his guests from United Arab Emirates, from the supplier, also a global company, and from the skills think tank. So several people who really take care of like different sectors and discuss about like their point of view about nuclear. And one of the things that I was doing, it was the small like Oscar kind of show, and that was the award ceremony. I was the master of ceremony, giving out the prizes to the best projects, the best ideas for innovations of the global companies who were working for the past years on the innovations.
That's so exciting, and congratulations on all of your activities. That's wonderful. And you're also here hosting podcasts, which is one more thing you're doing here. So to just kind of give people an overview, I mean, this conference is enormous. I think, I know Brett said he thinks it's the largest nuclear conference he's ever been to. It is in a huge event space in Paris. And essentially every company that comes, they have a booth, and some of them are massive. Some of them have multiple rooms inside of them, and they hold, events there all day long. And then there's also the panels, and then there's also, roundtable discussions and meeting spaces, and it just goes on and on and on. And the conference hasn't been held since 2018, I believe, because of the pandemic. So this is really, I think one of probably the first large nuclear events to happen since COVID.
Yeah, that's true. And looking at the scale, just to give you a little bit the sense of scale, there are over 600 exhibitors, 600 companies, maybe not, 600 booths. Wow. With some of them having several companies. So in total, a massive scale, that's true. And yeah, the sanitary measures are pretty strict still. Yeah. So we try to, put it in some good to good safety of everybody. However, yeah, I think the undergoing is super massive and really I'm under great impression of the organizers.
Yeah, it's so impressive what they've been able to pull off under such a complicated time. So, who have you been able to speak to at the conference this week? I mean, what are some of the organizations and companies that you've had conversations with?
Mm-hmm. So obviously there are many interesting companies. Some of them are the big French ones like EDF, Framatome. There are also some small ones, like for example the suppliers or service providers, which is another very interesting type of company, which is just assembling engineers of very different profiles and just sending them here and there for short contracts. Actually, I'm working for one of these companies in my
cool.
Professional life. After you have different kind of organizations who are serving somehow nuclear industry, like the education, like keeping the contacts between the companies, a kind of lobby, the organization of different companies, and the nuclear societies also, which are the communities of professionals. In order to keep this community really vibrant, full of activities and so on. They are also present here. And the last group of people, I think, but not least, is many engaged, just passionate people who do not really represent the decision makers, but just really care about nuclear. And they come here to see a little bit what is the condition of nuclear, to talk about different new technologies, just very curious, very passionate about what is happening around. So if only you are French and you care about nuclear, like you really want to be here.
Yeah, no, it's been incredible. And it was so, I mean, this is my first nuclear event. And yesterday just walking around and seeing, there's a booth for people who just make springs for nuclear power plants. There's a booth for people who just make fans for nuclear power plants. Like all of these sort of incredibly, what some people might think of as somewhat niche, but important topics that go, into sort of nuclear. They're all covered here, and it's just been like so interesting to sort of learn about what everyone's sort of passion and interests and area of work, are independently.
Yeah, and just to add one thing, with this kind of salons, you can see that the nuclear industry is not only people calculating, the neutrons inside of the core. These are people who cover like majority of the industry, like the technical industry, like in general.
Yeah.
As you say, if you produce springs, maybe you will be part of the nuclear business at some point. Like I met a guy today who is focused on painting things.
Interesting.
He's painting things, but he really professionalized his painting so that he can paint the different components of nuclear machinery to make it, for example, corrosion resistant, to make it last for good several decades, problem free, maintenance free, and so on. So he's also here, and he's making business, and so like this way you can really see that nuclear industry does not only need like nuclear engineers. Like if we want to like keep this business and this industry really like living and well-being and so on, actually in our interest is to keep all the like STEM sector of knowledge alive. So for example, if you're thinking of like the skills management and so on for the future, like we really should not only focus on nuclear engineer, but on engineers in general.
And how wonderful to have an event like this in France, a country that gets so much of its energy from nuclear power, so that, even with all these massive lights that are turned on, we know
Guess how many percent of these lights are from nuclear,
exactly,
right?
A clean energy source that we're generating these from. So yeah, I mean, it's just been such an incredible experience. And I mean, everywhere I turn, I feel like even when you think you've seen everything, like there's always something new, always somebody to talk to. It's just been really amazing. And I mean, there's another day and a half left, and Michelle's about to do a panel, and we're really excited to see that. Excited to chat with some more folks today. I guess what else do you have coming up here at WNE?
Yeah, so tomorrow the day is really focused on young people. So different universities and institutions working with young people come here on one side to show all the education side and HR also, give the possibilities to these young people to see what are the possibilities for them for their careers, and really to show that the nuclear industry is an attractive industry for young like engineers really looking for like exciting job, not only to get salary. So this whole day will be focused on doing workshops, showing possibilities also for like international, because the salon is global, so also for international careers and so on. So on one side I will be making a little speech to the students to show my case, since I am Polish by origin, but I also studied in Spain and 1 year in France as well. And before I left my country, I was terrified with this idea of changing the environment completely. Right now, I know that it was one of the best decisions that I could take.
Yeah.
And even if at some point I will come back to my country, I know that like my experience will make my contribution so much richer than if I stayed in my country from the beginning to the end of my career. And for this reason, yeah, we just want to show this to other people. And also just to show them the salon a little bit, the exhibition. So there will be some guided visits. We organized some descriptions of different companies that will show the best of their skills. So yeah, this young component, not only people in suits doing important decisions, but also taking care of the future, really taking care of the workforce of tomorrow.
That's wonderful, and it's so great that they've made time for that at an event like this. I think oftentimes we think of trade shows or industry events as being very much only for the folks who currently work there, but bringing in that next generation and actually letting them see what their future holds and what it could hold is so great, and especially in something like nuclear, where as you sort of indicated, there definitely is a bit of a challenge in getting people from a young age interested in really engaging. Well, that sounds really wonderful. I guess I'm going to ask you the sort of tough question that we always wrap our episodes on, which is, what do you see as the future of nuclear, and what do you hope to see?
Yeah, so I could actually see a lot of future of nuclear already here. So I will start from like non-personal stuff. I'll come to the personal after. So yesterday, for example, when I was hosting this ceremony of the awards for the best projects in nuclear for the past several years, I could see the innovations that were really coming from the needs of having something optimized, something working better. So, for example, there were 8 different categories, including small companies, big companies. So we do not only look at the big fishes, but also at the companies that actually have several people in their premises. And the categories were also very diverse. There was nuclear safety that nuclear industry really loves to talk about, but there was also, for example, the skills management. So I can see that nuclear industry already sees these topics of the future that can not only be the numbers, but actually all the spectrum of activity. And I can really see that the innovations are taken seriously, and hopefully this will be what will be happening tomorrow and the day after and in the future. And on the personal basis, what I would like to see in the future is really also taking seriously the young people who need to constitute this workforce. We are talking about building new power plants. We are talking, we are defending the plants that are supposed to be closed and so on. But we really need to take into account the fact that somebody has to take over this plant at some point. Somebody has to operate it. Somebody has to maintain it. Somebody has to think of the new ways of of leading our processes and opening the companies that provide services that are not available right now. Digitalization is really also the topic of our generation and the generations to come. So the early career professionals, people who just started working like me, they really need to feel that this industry provides opportunities. That it's not only that you need to have a very good comprehensive education, which you have to do to enter this industry. It's not only that you have to be rigorous and follow the rules almost like a soldier, which you have to do because it's an industry that is very much based on providing safeguards to all the processes and so on. But it's also providing the opportunities to be creative, to propose something new, to always, let's say, keep this like mind processing at the back of your head, like what could be done better? And if I think of something that could be done better, I have somewhere to go and to propose it. Or I have a market that is welcoming me becoming an entrepreneur. Or there is a fund that can help me kickstart my company because my idea is excellent. And this I really want to see in the future.
Wonderful. Well, we all hope to see that in the future, and hopefully tomorrow will inspire some of that future generation of leaders that are coming up.
And initiate at least a new approach to the many difficult problems that must be solved in both private and public conversation if the world is to shake off the inertia imposed by fear and is to make positive progress toward peace.